You might be thinking, what is this? A hood fan. That's the exhaust for the hood. Make sure you ask your contractor about mechanical locations. What are these? All these are going to be lights. All trades off. Electrical, plumbing, mechanical. The first step will be plumbing, drainage, water line, hot and cold. A second stage will be electrical, switches, lights, outlets. The third stage will be mechanical, AC, HVAC, a fan for bathrooms, very important for humidity. This is a shower valve. If you want to have more than one water fixture in your bathroom, you need to have one of these that has a diverter in it. This way you can choose if you want to use your sprayer or you want to use your rainfall water. The best way to gain some natural light in the room is skylight. This skylight has an automatic shade, so this way you can control if you want the natural light or you don't want it. Make sure you verify these locations. Sink locations, vanity size. Do we want to have a mirror with light or without light? Toilet location. And if we want to have a bidet, that's a good time to let us know. Laundry, washer and dryer size, locations, switches, outlets, shower pan. Right location for a drain, making sure if you want to have a bench, shampoo niche. Those are very important. Because no one want to open finished wall to relocate electrical, plumbing, or mechanical. Let's talk about plumbing. Drainage. Very important to have a clean out very close to you, so all the time when there is something stuck, you will be able to open it up. Every drain will have its own air gap that goes all the way outside the roof. Make sure to use the right strap to hold the pipe strong. Hot and cold water lines. Copper, highly recommended. Two most common exteriors, cement or acrylic stucco. This one called cement stucco. Acrylic stucco should be smoother. The other one will be wood or vinyl siding. Very important to talk with your contractor so he can be prepared. Make sure to verify with your contractor all the lights locations, switches and outlets before we cover up the walls. Because no one want to open finished wall to relocate electrical, plumbing or mechanical. Don't be this person. People always ask it too late. Make sure to verify with your contractor about exterior lights, switches, very important. Installation will be your fifth step. 1. Framing. Will be plumbing, drainage and water lines. The third step will be electrical. Fourth step will be mechanical, fan, AC, HVAC. Next will be installation. The sixth one, if needed, interior sheet. Then drywall, island sink, loop drainage, hot and cold water lines. Exterior lot, the last step before you apply stucco. First step was framing. Second step was plywood. Third step was flushing. Fourth step, black paper, to make sure the building is waterproof. Now we have the lath, mesh wire. Last step, we're gonna apply stucco. This is something we could have done better. Syncing and information between architect, engineer, plumbing and electrical locations. This should be in a ceiling or in the wall. But in this case, we are fine. We're gonna have a nice, beautiful cabinets to hide it all. Make sure to involve your contractor during planning. These blue boxes are gonna be outlets and switches. Depending where your sink is, that's how you figure where to put your outlets. Otherwise, you can put them everywhere. Here's the steps of remodeling. Number 1, and the most important, selecting your right contractor. Number 2, get a plans. Number 3, meet with our designer for material purchase. Number 4 will be demolition. Number 5, framing. Number 6, electrical. Number 7, plumbing. Number 8, insulation and drywall. Number 9 will be choosing a texture and paint the house. Number 10 will be a finished material installation. Here's the steps of roofing. The first layer and the most important one, plywood. Second step will be exterior lath, black paper, waterproofing. Very important step will be flushing, making sure you have a good flushing around the roof. That will prevent from water goes inside. After flushing, we're going to install the finish of the roof. In this case, we're going to have a tile roof. Why you guys should order your windows before we even got a permit. A window lead time will take 3 to 4 months. That can delay your project, and nobody wants that. Talk with your contractor and order your window first. Let me teach you a small lesson about the hardwood floors. Over here, you're going to see the thickness of the top layer of the wood, meaning that can be sanded later on if needed. Over here, we can see a plywood that will keep the piece strong enough even during a hard weather. Hello everybody, so today we're going to talk about if you guys need to install the cabinets first or flooring first. So in case of wooden tile, we're going to install flooring first and then cabinets. So in a vinyl floors, we're going to do a cabinet first and the floors will come floating to the cabinets. Another way to make your room feels bigger will be to raise the ceiling. In this case, we just raise the ceiling. Another way will be to vault the ceiling. Don't make this mistake and forget to talk with your contractors about the layouts of the floorings. In this case, both floors are levels, meaning no needed transition. In most cases, people don't have the same level of the floors. In that case, we will need a transition. Did you know that your hardwood floor can get changed with the temperature of the house? A good contractor would like to keep the floors open for a couple weeks to acclimate. Let's make sure you guys have the final results before everything is even made. Step number 1, you guys gonna tell us what you want. Step number 2 will be to meet with our in-house designers. She's awesome. Step number 3, we're gonna give you a bunch of ideas. Step 4, we're gonna turn your vision into your reality. Another way to make your room feels bigger will be to raise the ceiling. In this case, we just raise the ceiling. Another way will be to vault the ceiling. Why backsplash are so important for you? Number 1, it's to prevent water splashing on your walls. Number 2, easier to clean a tile or a stone rather than to clean a wall. 3, it's going to make your kitchen look amazing. And here's some questions you should always ask your contractor. Can they provide the references, clients? What will be the expected timeline for the entire project? What's the typical stage of payments for the entire project? 3 most common textures on the wall: smooth texture, orange peel, and a knockdown. And here's some questions you should always ask your contractor. Number 1, are they licensed? Number 2, are they bonded and insured? Number 3, how many permits are they attend in the area? And here's some questions you should always ask your contractor. Can we live in the house during renovations? What is a typical day for a union crew? How do your contractor prefer to communicate with you as a client? Most common roof finishes. 1, we can use tile. 2, can work with shingles, asphalt shingles. On a flat roof, we're going to use a TPO or a torch down. Another option, we can choose a concrete tile. When should we call for inspector to come and inspect the job? Inspector should come in every step. Rough foundation, rough framing, exterior lath, roofing, shear walls, rough framing, windows in. Make sure your contractor will call for any inspections needed. How long should the roofing installation take? Permit will be very easy to pull. Probably a day or 2 to get a permit for re-roofing. After the permit, we're going to schedule a date of start and do demolition for the entire roof. That's going to take around 2 days. Black paper and a flushing, very important. That's going to take around the day of installation. The last will be the finish installation. So tile may take around 2 to 3 days. Shingles can take a day up to 2 and should be done. Together should take around 5 days to a week. Very important, make sure they put a good gutters and a downspots for the water to drain down. So right after pouring, we want to make sure we let the cement settle for a couple days at least. Always pour some water on it. Water always make your foundation be stronger, gives the cement some more moisture in it. So want to make sure to spray some water every other 2-3 hours to make sure it's gonna suck the water and let it dry. Give 2 to 3 days before you start to frame on top of it, just to make sure that the cement is really dries up. Inspect it before you start frame on top of it to make sure that your foundation will stay solid and strong. Hello guys, so today we're going to explain you what is the difference between architect and an engineer. So architect, he's going to plan for us the layouts, he's going to say how it's going to look or what we want to gain. Engineer will tell us exactly how we're going to build it in terms of structurally, what kind of beam, what kind of plywood, the way we're going to actually build. Details people always forget about. Window trim, a door trim, and a baseboards for flooring. You want to make sure that you have your pump ready the same date and time when you order the cement to come over. If not, the cement company going to charge you for no reason and you guys are not ready for pouring. Most common problem is when people are not vibrating the cement still have bubbles, and bubbles are not good for us. We want to have a solid foundation, very strong footing to make sure it's going to hold on. Make sure that you have a vibrate machine near to you during pouring cement. Never pour cement before you pass rebars inspection. Later on, tear down a cement poured. Very complicated, very expensive. We don't want to be there. We have still family live inside the house, so we want to make sure that everything will be wrapped to kind of divide between the floor plan where the client still lives to the job site. Let them feel more comfortable with where they live during construction. So that's the first thing and the most important for us. So before we pour the cement, very important to clean out all around the footing and the area where you would like to pour the cement. Very important to have on-site prepared vibrate machine or a very long rebar that you guys can push in order to make sure that the cement will fill up the entire pier and not gonna have some bubbles on it. The piers or the footing are not settled up right. You want to make sure that you have the right caves around where you pour the cement. Later on, you're going to have a very bumpy and weird foundation. You don't want it to happen.